Leaving Molyvos, we made our way to the western tip of the island and the fishing village of Sigri. It's a small town with a few taverns and not much else. Being on the dry side of Lesvos, it's a sparse landscape, but 20 million years ago, it was covered in forest. Evidence of that time remains today, slowly being unearthed by Mother Nature, as well as some inquisitive archaeologists. One of them is Professor Zouros, the director of the Petrified Forest Museum in Sigri. He's also the president of the Global Geoparks Network. He's a busy man, but somehow found the time to show me around.
The idea of creating geoparks, because this designation didn't exist in the past, it was born here.
In Greece?
In Greece, in Lesvos Island.
Wow, Professor, this is unbelievable. I've never seen any. It's a tree. It's a whole tree.
Yeah, of course, it's a whole tree. Let me explain you. This is a pine tree that is here due to a big volcanic eruption. The volcanic eruption took place 20 million years ago.
Wow.
The volcanic eruption destroyed the forest, and the material from the volcano came and covered everything, all the vegetation at the original site. That's why we find here trees, but also the branches, the fruits, and even the leaves of the trees inside these layers of pyroclastic material. This is the volcanic ash.
So it's ash and mud that encapsulated it.
Absolutely. It was mud and ash that captured the tree. And due to the circulation of hot water, very rich in silicon dioxide, we have a process of silicification. This means petrification. The organic material became inorganic. The wood became stone. And that's how we have nowadays these trees in their original position, keeping their shape, the external characteristics, but even, and this is more important, the internal characteristics of the wood. We can see in the microscope and we can recognize a variety of trees. That's how I can come here and show you this tree and tell you that this was a pine tree.
This is Mother Nature's Medusa. These trees are so perfectly preserved that you can even see the details in the bark. To truly appreciate the colour and dimensions of what you're looking at, you really have to come here in person.
So let me show how violent was the eruption that destroyed this forest. Look, here we have a standing tree, here we have a volcanic bomb that came due to the eruption, destroyed the branch, which is now under this huge volcanic bomb.
So a volcano that's kilometres away threw this bomb of lava, that's it there,
yes,
and it ripped the branch off.
Absolutely.
It's a snapshot in history.
Yeah. It's like taking a photo of what happened 20 million years ago here and how this forest was created. And you can see also how beautifully have been preserved the annual rings that show us
the rings, I can see them there.
Age of this tree. This tree has an age of 300 years at that time, and it was stopped, his age was stopped by the volcanic eruption.
Let me get a quick snapshot as well. You stand there, so I've got a snapshot of you, of a snapshot 20 million years later. Thank you very much. Professor, let's get going, eh? I'm so honoured to be here for what you and your forefathers have uncovered, the biggest petrified forest in the world.
Yes, indeed. There's no other forest, petrified forest in the world with 60 different species of trees found in their original place.
To the uninitiated, everything on the island looks like regular rocks. But if you gaze closely enough, soon you'll discover that many of the stones and boulders are actually the remains of petrified trees, slowly crumbling away and being washed into the sea.
Here you can see the successive events. We can discover the successive events that took place during the 6 million years of the volcanic activity on Lesvos Island. The lower level is just at the level of the sea.
I can see the shapes. They're all trees, parts of trees.
Yes, these are sequoia trees, in fact. Huge trees that have been released by the waves.
So this is the first layer. Where is there more layers, is there?
Yes. This is the first layer, 60 centimeters higher. We have this yellow layer full of different trees. All these brown and yellow things are different tree trunks.
Yep, I can see one there.
Yeah, and this
And here.
Then we have a thick layer of pyroclastics full of volcanic bombs. You see these red
That's a
pieces
bomb,
of rock.
yeah.
And at the top we see another forest. This yellow thing
Just
is
there,
a
yeah.
silicified tree. Inside this yellowish layer, which is volcanic ash. At the top of that, we have another layer full of different pieces, fragments of lava. And at the top, you see a yellow piece
I
and
can
then
see
a
there,
black
yes.
piece. And this is the youngest, the fourth forest in this
So
location.
this period from there to there is basically about 6 million years.
It is included in the 6 million years that we have the volcanic activity in Lesbos Island that started 22 million years ago and ended 16 million years ago.
So we don't have to worry about any more volcanoes on this island.
No, because they are completely inactive.
Successive volcanic events over millions of years shape the island we see today. But perhaps the slow forces of climate change and shifting tectonic plates have had the greatest impact of all. No longer do we see forest growing here. The temperature is too hot and there's simply not enough rainfall.
Professor, I just cannot believe what I'm seeing now. The size is sequoia, right?
Yes, it's a giant sequoia.
This thing is massive. Tell me, what do geologists get out of this that adds any value to the world?
It's amazing the amount of information that this site can offer us. First of all, we are in front of a sequoia tree, and it's so big that we generally found it only in continental areas. It shows also that the climate conditions was completely different than those existing nowadays. This forest, this tree, and the other species found in the area of the petrified forest show us that we have a semi-tropical forest, similar of the forest that exists nowadays in southeastern Asia. All this information show us the paleogeography, the climatic conditions, the species that live 20 million years ago in the Aegean. All this information are unique. This is the only site that we can get all this kind of information in just one single site.
Megalonissi is a barren, dry little island, untouched by man and just a stone's throw from Lesvos. What fascinates me is that the digging here has only recently begun. There are hundreds of these petrified trees just below the surface, waiting to be discovered. Wow.